Welcome, ladies and gents. Andor. Andor is the Star Wars series that I like, some people like, but not many people like. And interestingly, it's getting a season 2. Yeah, I know. I like this show, but even I'm surprised it's getting a season 2 because not many people are watching it. So this is a surprise, to say the least. But I wonder whether this is part of Disney's plan to sort of bolster out the universe, and maybe there's spin-offs regarding these things which they're looking at to plan against, so they have to have a season 2. Or maybe they've just committed to it, and so if they were to get out of this deal, then they would have, incur quite large fees to Gilroy and obviously the cast. Could be the case, but this is interesting nonetheless. Like I'm happy about this, but I am surprised. So Andor Season 2, we got some reveals here. This is courtesy of Deadline. Andor Season 2 sets filming start date. Tony Gilroy reveals. Tony Gilroy, of course, was on Rogue One and is now part of this as well. And, I think he's done something very good with this whole universe. I think he's done a very, very, very good job here. It's not everyone's cup of tea, it's not for everyone. I get that. And I think people's main complaint seems to be it doesn't feel like Star Wars. And I guess, the way I look at it as a casual Star Wars watcher, I wouldn't even say I'm a Star Wars fan, but a casual Star Wars watcher, is that this isn't core Star Wars. It's just not. It's a story within the universe. So thematically, tonally, it can be its own thing. It can be very different. It can be separated. One of the complaints is actually the music. And I actually really like the music in this series. I think it's really, really good. But music is a character, can be, if it's good, is a character in and unto itself for series and movies alike. And so, again, if it's Star Wars proper, the core Star Wars proper, it would have to be that sort of bombastic John Williams score, very theatrical, operatic. But for Andor, a story within the universe, its own thing, it can be different. It can be experimental. And I think that's important to take a look at from that perspective. You don't have to, of course, but maybe people would appreciate it on a different level if they did. And I get it. Some people just think it's boring. I get that as well. It's not going to be for everyone's taste. I get that. But let's take a look, right? So Andor, the Star Wars prequel starring Diego Luna, has already set the start date of filming for its second season, and creator Tony Gilroy has revealed the date. So earlier this year, Gilroy confirmed that the second season of Andor would start shooting in November, and eager fans had been anxious to find out when that would be, and Gilroy recently told Collider in an interview that the Disney Plus series would start shooting the Monday before Thanksgiving, which is November 21st. So, and this is what I mean by commitments, okay? So the show was planned out as a 2-season adventure, with a second season leading up to the events in Rogue One, a Star Wars story, where audiences were first introduced to Cassian Andor, Diego Luna's character. So each season would consist of 12 episodes, for a total of 24 episodes. So there's a commitment there. So despite this series, season, whatever it is, not actually doing particularly well, because it's not, I like this show, but I'm not going to be biased. It's just not doing very well. It seems to me that they have to make the second season. And Gilroy's like a pretty heavy hitter. He's not someone which he's a fairly reasonable name, right? Not someone that you want to... I don't want to say Disney doesn't want to annoy him, but he's pretty high up in the industry. So for them to be playing silly buggers with him, it's probably not beneficial. And again, it seems to me that there would be pretty heavy financial implications if they backed out of that commitment. We've already learned, just as an FYI, we've already learned that the Friday the 13th prequel series, of all things, has a 2-season commitment. So the creators of that have to make 2 seasons, and that's a commitment from both sides. So it's a plan that if either back out of it, they have to obviously forfeit financial ramifications. So anyway, during the TCA press day in August of this year, Gilroy said the first season would consist of 1 year presented throughout 12 episodes. That's interesting. I didn't even know that. The second season will be broken into 4 blocks of 3 episodes, with each block representing another year closer. That's interesting. We really get to take the formative forging of Cassian Andor in the first 12 episodes, and then we get to take that organism that we've built up and run it through the next 4 years in a really exciting narrative fashion. I know this line will probably make a few people laugh, exciting narrative fashion, but I like this show. Gilroy hinted that the last season of episode 24 would walk the audience directly into the first scenes of Rogue One. Interesting. So Andor obviously explores new perspectives from the Star Wars galaxy, focusing on Cassian Andor's journey to discover the difference he can make. The series brings forward the tale of the burgeoning rebellion. I really like this. But the interesting thing is, and again, this is obviously they have this commitment here anyway, like we know that. But there's also been reports that Bix Caleen is the character. I'm trying to get the report up. Bix Caleen is getting their own spin-off. Alright. Sure, I guess. I don't really understand why. It's surprising. Here's the report. Morbius star Adria Arjano reportedly has a big future in Star Wars franchise beyond Andor. What? So, I know. So, Galactic Transmission suggests the character has a big future in the Star Wars franchise. Apparently, Arjona has signed a deal that will see her appear in other upcoming projects. We'd assume Andor Season 2 is among them, but it sounds like Bix will play a role in other TV shows set during this time period. And most interestingly, is the claim that the actress is also committed to potentially starring in her own series down the line. I don't know if this character warrants their own spin-off. I think that's a stretch, in fairness. But maybe? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But there you have it. So maybe that is part of it as well. You know, season 2, and then they're looking to build out certain characters into other things. Who knows? But there you go. Season 2 of Andor will start filming. And apparently, there's even reports that they're going to be going off over to, you know, kind of specific locations, which would be quite interesting. Like Yavin and things like that. So there you go. Interesting. Let me know what you think. Cheers. Take care.